back to this section. In this episode, we'll be looking at the external style sheet or external styling. Okay, so on our previous videos, we walked ourselves through the inline, the internal, and today we are going to look at the external style sheets. All right, with external style sheets, you can change the look of an entire website by changing just one file. That is the uniqueness of the external style sheet. Okay, so you have your separate file somewhere, and any code that you write against all the files, it is going to be applied to the entire UI by changing one file. Okay, so each page must include a reference to the external style sheet, to the external style sheet file inside the link element. The link element goes inside the head section. Okay, so it is very, very simple. We need a reference to the link, and the link element we must do what? Reference it inside where the header section or the head section. Don't worry about this if you don't understand. When you get to code, you really get it. Okay, so let us go get to code and get our hands dirty. Now this is where we got to on our previous lesson. So we can see how we were able to start internal. Okay, so in this section, let's look at how the external also works. We are going to implement the same thing in our external style sheet. Okay, so before everything, if you can check it from the slide, you can see from here. So it says what? It says with each page must include a reference to the external file. So to start with, we need an external file. Okay, so you can see from here that this is the file for HTML. We need another file for CSS. Okay, external file for CSS. To start this, we need to create a file first. All right, first thing first. So to do that, you can come to file, then you come to what? Open new file, or you can do Command N or Control N on Windows. Okay, so you can come here, new file. In the same manner that we save our HTML file, we are going to use the same approach to save our CSS external file. Okay, it is simple as that. So to do that, we can do Command S or Control S, or you can come to file, then come to save. Okay, click on that. It is going to direct you to your project folder. Make sure you save this file inside your project folder. So my project folder is on desktop. So you come to desktop, then you come to, where is it? CSS practice. This is it. Okay. The most important things here, you can give this one any name at all. You can call it index.css, whatever name, you are good to go. But the most important thing here is what? The file extension. All right. So I would like to call mine stylesheets.css. You can call yours anyhow you want it, but please, the file extension is the .css. Get that one right. If you get this wrong, it will not work. But the name invention doesn't matter, but the file extension is the most important of all. Okay, so I would like to call my stylesheets.css. That is the traditional way. Now you save it. After that, please make sure it is saved inside your CSS practice folder. Save it. Now we've saved it. Okay, so what is next? Let's get back to the slides and let me show you. You can see here. So it says what? Each page must include a reference to the external style sheet filed inside the link element. Okay, so what we are going to do next is what? The link element goes inside the head section. So we are going to, the link element goes into the head section. So what we're going to do from here is that we are going to link this style sheet inside the head section. This is the head section. This is the open tag of the head and the closing tag of the head. So we are going to link it inside this place here. Okay. All right. So to start with, we need what? A link element is here. A link element or a link tag, and the link element goes inside the header section. So it's very simple here. All what you have to do is to type what? Link. Now, if you have to do all the work by yourself, you have to give it a reference with an attribute. That is, if you're not using Sublime Text, you have to do all this, then you give your style sheet and the types and code. But if you happen to using a Sublime Text, all what you have to do is to just type in link and hit enter. Sublime Text will do the 90% of the work for you. You only have to put in your naming convention and you are good to go. So all these are what? Predetermined by Sublime Text for us. That is why I'm still saying it that it is what? Beginner friendly. That's why I am recommending it for you as a beginner. Now from here, what you do is what? Put in the name. Okay, this is the name. Stylesheet.css is the same thing here. Please make sure you get the name, the spelling right. If you get this wrong, it will not work. So let's go. Okay, Sublime Text kind of predicting it even for me. So style sheet, then my hot file extension .css. All right, by doing this, you are good to go. Now that we have linked our external style sheet, let's go ahead and try to implement some code and see if it will work. Now, like I said before, we are going to use the internal styling here. We are going to use the same thing. We are going to implement the same styles in our external style sheet. Okay. To begin with, let us see how the inline style sheet also turns in a browser. This is our previous work that we did. Okay, so we are going to do the same thing using the external style sheet. And to do that, let me comment this code. It has been commented. Okay, so being commented means that what, as you know from your HTML, it is just readable, but it is not functioning. Okay, so as we did HTML comments, CSS also, I'll show you how to do that when you get there. Now, inside our style sheet, we are going to implement the same code here. Okay, so let's call our body. You can see from here that we reference our selector here is what, the body. Remember the selector. Okay, so the body, we are referencing the body. Then inside the body, what do we need? We need a background color of light blue. So let's do it. Then we said what, a background color property of what? Of light blue. Okay. So before anything else, let's just save this one and let's check if it is working. So we come to our browser and refresh. You can see that we are having a light blue background. Okay. The remainder of this code has been what commented is like it is just readable. But you can see that the background color of light blue that we gave it has persisted. Okay, it is working, meaning our style sheet is working now. So what else? Then we reference the H1, which is the header tag. Then we give it a color blue and margin left as what, 150 pixels. If you like, you can copy the code. You can just grab the code and come and do it. But please, as a beginner, don't fall in love with copy. Okay, make sure you type them to get perfection. Okay, so let me go ahead and type them instead of copy. So color is blue and margin left is 150 pixels. So it's very simple. We come here and I do what, color. Okay, 150 pixels. Save it, head towards your browser and refresh. And we can see that this also persists. This is the blue color, and we can see the margin left also is here. Now, what is left? What is next is what, our paragraph. Okay, our paragraph, which is our p tag. Then we give it a background color of orange and a color of white. Let's go ahead and do that. So we come here, we call our p tag, which is our paragraph tag. All right, save it, head towards the browser and refresh. There we go. Okay, we have implemented the same styling here. Okay, the same styling property that we made in inline. We've applied the same thing inside our CSS style sheet. Okay, so now you can see from here that because we are already in a style sheet and it has been linked here, we don't need this one. We don't need the styles. Okay, we can see from here that we begin with in the inline, we use styles, open and closing tag of styles before we write our code. We don't need that because we already in what, a style sheet. Okay, the code understand that we are in a style sheet. All right, so we can equally increase the font size. So we can do font size property. Then we give it what, let's say 50 pixels. Save it, head towards the browser and refresh. And there we go. Okay, so any style that we write here, it will affect it. That is why we said from the slide that with an external style sheet, we can change the look of the entire website by changing just one file. Okay, so we change only one file and it has changed the entire appearance of our website or our web page. All right, so that is that for this video. A quick recap. Now, all what we did was that we created our external file style sheet. Okay, file. Then we save it inside our project folder. Then after that, we came to our HTML. Then we linked our external style sheet here. And I said before, what is most important is what, the file name and the file extension. Okay, you got it correct and you are good to go. And all what we did was that we implement our inline styling here. we implement the same code inside our external style sheet, okay, and we save it and we refresh, we open in a browser and the code persists, okay. So that is that for this tutorial. Anyway, my advice to you is that as we are progressing, we be using external style sheet the more, and the reason being is that you don't want to have your HTML and your CSS code being on one file, okay. Number one, it will make your project slow. When you're working in a project with about 50,000 lines of code, your project will be slow because when it is reading, it's going to read the HTML and going to also read the CSS at the same time in the same file. It will make it slow. So in as much as possible, try and use external style sheets, okay. So in the cases that you need to use an inline or an internal, you can equally do that, but as much as possible, use external style sheets. Anyway, that is that for this video. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.